Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. Not too long ago, I said I would do a flip through of all of my completed journals. So I have one today that I want to show you. I love religious ephemera. A lot of the paintings and things by the masters, there are some of the most beautiful images of the Madonna and the Christ child. And then even like late 1800s, early 1900s, I think there's some beautiful Catholic ephemera, just so many wonderful things. I have a box that I keep for religious ephemera, and it's kind of been building up, so I thought today I would put together some packs. So I have 8 packs that are ready to go out, but I first want to show you my journal. On the outside are some charms. This is, I think, sort of like a prayer rosary. I don't know a lot about it, but this looks old to me. I found that in a thrift store, and it seems to have some age on it. The clasp was missing, so I went ahead and just attached that with some string and one of the rings on this that was available. There's also a Serenity Blessing ring. That's really pretty. And there's this little charm that's got Saint Teresa. This little charm has Saint Anthony. And then there is a little bottle of flowers. And I guess for me, that helps me to remember people who have passed away. I love to look at something like this and hold something like this. Now you will notice on the outside, there is some of my paper ruffle that I just added today. This paper ruffle is pretty grungy. I did make quite a bit of this, and I cut off a piece to use for myself. I decided with that very last little bit of trim to do a zigzag stitch over it. And then it's got a lot of staining with the black alcohol ink. On the very front, there's a picture from a vintage children's religious book. I just realized that these flowers are casting a shadow over the book. I wondered where that was coming from. I'm not sure if your Dollar Tree has it, but mine recently had dried flowers, and I did something really fun with those today. I'm not going to do a lot of talking. I'm just going to flip because there's not a lot of writing in here. I constructed this mostly with masking tape. There is a little bit of glue, but not a lot. There is absolutely no sewing in this book besides hand stitching. You can see a lot of tape. What I did was take images that I thought were really beautiful, and I taped them in. The pages are really distressed. There is a metal cross that I found. I found quite a few of these, and I just stitched that in with some heavy upholstery thread. And of course that was done by hand. I love these old images. Just absolutely beautiful. I had an old book called The Secrets of the Rosary. It was a small paperback. Some of the pages I have separated out. I love that dark color, so the packages have some pages from that. I, of course, have some stamping in here that you can see. I love to look at the different designs of crosses. I think crosses are really beautiful. So I do have you know, things like that I like to look at, things that make me stop and think. There's part of a page from The Secrets of the Rosary. So you can just see this is a really distressed book. There's some stamping, a lot of staining from water and then drying the pages. I think that is a beautiful image. And that was from a book of herbal medicine, and it talked about different herbs that were used in the Bible. There are a few postage stamps in here that were religious. I think that's really beautiful. There are more of the herbs that are from the Bible. And this is one of the little, like the Catholic prayer cards. I don't know a lot about these, but I do think many of them are very beautiful. So there are just a lot of vintage images in here. You can see the masking tape and then paper tape. There are some book pages in here, distressing and stamping. Make yourself familiar with the angels and behold them frequently in spirit, for without being seen, they are present with you. This is the Cross of Kells. So the crosses with these shapes, that's in Ireland. It says the crosses were erected by the early Irish Christians from the 10th to the 13th centuries. And then just more beautiful images. So you can see I still have some room to write things like this, things that I really want to keep in a prayer or religious journal. There's another one of the Catholic cards, and another. I put the ones in that I think the images are just really beautiful. I love the way the black from here faded onto this page, and there's some stamping. There's a stamp, postage stamp. So in a way, this journal is finished. And in a way, I guess it's not. I mean, I could keep adding things like handwritten things, but the journal is completely constructed, and you know, all of the paper that's going to be in here as a permanent part of the journal is here. And these were from some old prints that I had. Again, another book page. I love the way that page turned out. I believe that is Saint Teresa. And then there's the cover of that book. Love this stamping. And that was from an old greeting card, A Prayer for Your Recovery. And this is a card with Saint Lazarus. And that's part of a greeting card. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. And then there's the back. So there is that journal. I think it's absolutely beautiful. These packs, I have 8 complete packs. And they're all, you know, stapled up. A lot of them have some of the same elements, and they're all built just the same. So I had a lot of ephemera. Some of it was really vintage. Some of it is moderately vintage. So what I did was to just lay everything out. I made 8 stacks, and I went through and just sorted it, you know, so that each stack got the same amount. And there are some beautiful things in here. Okay, let's just take a look. Each one has one of the little metal crosses. And each one will have the same number. So there are some of the Catholic prayer cards. There are different ages as far as the age of these. Different saints, different depictions of the Madonna, different depictions of Christ. So really pretty. And then this one is an old one, I think. That's really pretty. And then here we have more. That one's got a little note on the back from 1997. And some of them are older. This one's got copyright 1937. I don't know if it looks that old. And then there are some little cards with verses, Bible verses. There are book pages from The Secret of the Rosary. Let's get all of those together. So some of those pages. And then like this one happens to have prayers of the Rosary. So this is when I got into a stack of ephemera and just started doing, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then going back and starting again. So they're all going to have some vintage elements. Look at that. I think that's really old. It's Revival Meetings, Chandler, Oklahoma, Christian Church. And it talks about what the program is. There's a little alphabet card that's got a Bible verse on it. And there is a little print. And there's a pretty greeting card that's got some statuary on it. Looks like an angel. And then there's an old piece of ephemera that looks like a little memory card for someone, and it's got some verses on it. And then there's a piece of ephemera about one of the saints. There's another alphabet card with a Bible verse, and another one. And then there's an old print that is Daniel in the lion's den. There's a little card that has the serenity prayer on one side, and then on the other it's got the verse that I wrote about, make yourself familiar with the angels. Here are a couple more cards with Bible verses, and there's another prayer card. There's a vintage piece of ephemera, overheard in an orchard. And then here are some cards. This comes from a book. What is that book called? The Book of Miracles, or? And then there is an old print that says the University Prints, Boston. And then we have some music pages from the Messiah. And there is another print. So the prints and things like that, they vary. You know, 2 or 3 may have the same one, and then another 2 or 3 will have a different one. There's a pretty image of an angel. Each one has one of these calendar pages with a Bible verse, and then each one has one of these book pages that's been folded. So it's got different images. I counted 59 pieces of ephemera, and then the little cross. And like on this card, this has 1967 on the back. It's actually in memory of someone. So these are really special little cards and things. And again, I have 8 of these. There is a link in the description if you're interested in one of these. Lots of really special things in these. Again, they're all going to vary a little bit, but the one I showed you gives you a really good idea of what is in each pack. And when I was going through the ephemera, I distributed it equally. So this will be a really fun package to receive. Thank you so much. I'll be back really soon. Bye for now.